You don't always have to find something to do. Society makes people feel like you always have to either be working, you always have to be doing something, you always have to be running from here to there, just putting, just doing so much in a day. But to be honest, I feel you don't always have to do that. Okay. Hello everybody, welcome to my channel again. We're back again. Yes, we are back again. This light is a bit bright, but we're going to continue. Okay, hello everybody, welcome. Yeah, we're back again today, and I hope that your day is going well, that you're fine, that your week is going good, and everything is good with you. Yes, and yes, we're going to get to today's video. Today's video is about how to be, how to preserve your creativity / your passions / maybe when you were younger, things used to come to mind, or used to really feel like you were creative. Like you'd have things like, oh, maybe I should do this, or maybe I should have done this, or you just feel like your mind is producing more juice. Your mind is creative, that kind of thing. But sometimes as we get older, we kind of lose that a little bit, or we're not as creative, or we don't feel as inspired, or even if we feel inspired, we're just not having ideas or direction on what to do and what not to do. This thing's a bit shaky, let me fix it. Or we're not having direction, we're not having inspiration on what to do, how to do it, things like that. We just sometimes feel like our purpose is not shining through, or we're not really doing exactly what we love to do or what we like to do. So this is I just have a few tips on how to preserve your creativity, and not let your creativity die. And maybe if it's been weakened for a little bit, at least maybe these tips can help you to bring it out again, and be a child again, and be productive, and be creative, and have those inspirations that can keep you going, and move you forward. Okay, so the first one I have is don't always be busy. That's the first tip. So when I say don't always be busy, I mean that sometimes we get so occupied with so many things. Like it could be school, it could be work, it could be life. We forget to take time to rest and be in the state of mind where we're not really thinking about anything. Now, no, don't get me wrong, I know sometimes it's hard, we overthink, or we think too much about this and that. But when I say don't always be busy, you don't always have to find something to do. Society makes people feel like you always have to either be working, you always have to be doing something, you always have to be running from here to there, just putting, just doing so much in a day. But to be honest, I feel you don't always have to do that. You don't always have to be busy. A lot of times in my day now, I wasn't like this before, but I try to do it now more. I just, it's not like I find time. I don't plan my time on when to rest. I just notice myself, like, let's say I'm done with class, or I'm done with something, I don't just automatically want to find something else to do. I'll just go home, rest, go home, watch a movie, go home, sleep, go home, call somebody, go home, just be on my own and rest. So the way that relates to being creative is when you can be in that state of mind where you're not doing much. You don't have to exercise so much physical energy during the day and run from here to there, that by the time you get back home, you're tired, you're weak, you're already tired physically. So there's no way you can be your mind can have productive, creative things to think about. But when you can be in that state of mind where you've not exercised so much strength on, you've not done a lot of physical things, you've not had to think too much during the day. Of course, maybe you have things you have to think during the day, but in general, just the more I don't know, people might disagree with me on this, but I feel like the more you move, the more we move during the day and everything, and it's energy. You might not feel it then. You might just feel like, oh, it's okay, let me just run over to this place, get this thing I need to do, or let me go to work, let me do this, even if I don't need to be there, let me do that. Whatever you do during the day, it's your body, it's your mind. You're seeing things, you're the more places you go, the more you see. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but just remember that sometimes you have to, don't try to exercise your whole strength during the day. You can do one thing and come back home and rest for the whole day and be productive while you're home. And we're going to talk about that, and be productive while you're home. You want to do, if you do find yourself overthinking, then fine, maybe you need to, go out and call somebody and, spend some time outside of your own mind box. But as far as you're not putting too much, exercising too much energy during the day, it's good for you to be able to come back and rest and take time out and just be by yourself. And a lot of times when you're then by yourself, sometimes you get really creative and things come up. But I'm not saying this cannot happen outside your space. It can definitely happen outside your space. It can happen while you're outside. You can be creative while you're outside, but you're doing something, but you're just in a like calm state of mind. You're not exercising too much physical strength. I don't know if this, I hope it comes together, but I feel like maybe I've gotten the point across. Yes. So just don't try to always be busy. It's okay to rest. It's okay to have times where you're not doing anything. Don't always try to find things to do. Yes. So now number 2 is so number 2 on preserving your creativity is actually to try to always engage you. Not always, but try to always, I said always. Okay, try to be more engaged with how you learn, how much you learn, what you see, in terms of you can always be learning something. So in that period whereby maybe you're like, okay, I don't have to do these things during the day, let me just come back to my space and rest. I feel like society tries to not make people rest these days, but it's good to rest. It's good to take time out to yourself. You can read your book, you can read your Bible, you can read something, you can watch something that gives you a lot of knowledge. So all those things, watching something, reading something, calling somebody, hearing from people, it's all good. It's things you can do when you can be in your own space and be creative. Yeah, so that number 2 was learn and fill your mind with to learn and to fill your mind with things that you can grow with, things that you can learn with. If you feel like you want to learn about something, search it up on YouTube and learn about it. Like I said in my previous video, no knowledge is lost. Learn about it. Just always. And I've always kind of been like this, but I'm enhancing how it is. I'm trying to, like, now I understand how I can be sometimes. So I'm like, oh wow, it's okay. Like if I want to research about one topic for the whole day, that's fine. I'll research about it, and nobody's quizzing me on this topic, but I just want to, and I'm learning from it. So yeah, so things like that. So just try to learn from that, and and in your own space or whatever it is, always try to learn from people. That's how you can build your creativity. That's how people think like you know everything, but you don't know everything, of course, but at least you're knowledgeable about a lot of things. It's a good thing. So number three, it's do more than looking, watching, listening. So I think there's a quote that says this better, but let me explain what I mean. Like, take actions more than you observe. It's okay to observe, but don't let your observing be more than your actions. So for example, let's say you've been watching some videos, you want to learn something, you've been watching a lot of videos, or you're trying to learn from a book, you're reading a book, and you're reading, you're watching, but that thing that you wanted to do, that you were inspired to do, you're not doing it. All you're doing is reading, watching. This also can come down to, sometimes the internet or social media, we see some things and get inspired by it, which is great. It's a great thing to be inspired. But, after a while, then take that action. If you see a hairstyle you want to try the hairstyle. Don't spend so long looking at something. You're like, oh, I want to try this, or I want to do this, or I want to get this outfit, or it can be anything, or I want to get this, whatever it is, whatever it is that you're pursuing, or whatever it is that you're inspired by. Oh, I want to try this, or oh, I want to see if I can try to see how this works for me. Don't spend forever watching videos, forever watching reading books, forever doing one thing or the other. What you need to be doing is actually taking the action. So I know sometimes I get lost in this, because I won't say I like to do a lot of research, but I do like to sometimes just go into details and learn about something. But I do find myself sometimes, after I've learned about it for so long, I'm still learning. I'm like, okay, what do you want to do with this information? Are you trying to get something out of it, or it depends, are you trying to get something out of it, or is it just for your knowledge? If it's for your own knowledge, fine. But this tip is to be creative, to preserve your creativity. You have to actually do more than you watch. So for example, you're watching a video on how to do this. Eventually you should get up and do it, do less. So don't do more of actions than observing. I got that epiphany some days ago. So I feel like someone has said it before. I didn't really understand what it meant, but now I understand. Do more, take action more than you're observing. It's good to observe for a bit, for a while, but don't, if you're trying to do something, you can't spend forever observing. I hope I've gotten that point across. Let's move on. Okay, number 4 is creativity helps you to flourish and be proactive. So whenever you get an idea or thought, put it down somewhere. Whenever you get an idea, whenever you get a thought, whenever you're already in that state, it's so funny because you would remember whatever it is. You would remember if something occurs to you. If something occurs to you during your day that is like, oh, you look at something and like, oh wow, I'm inspired by that. Maybe I want to try this, or oh, I want to see how this works for me, or I'm inspired by this person. Let me see how that works for me. Then you need to maybe put it down somewhere. If you're more of a I don't always remember things, honestly, but if you're more of someone that remembers things, it's fine. But I feel like putting it down just it just it just brings it to life a bit more. So put it down somewhere. It could be in your phone notes, it could be to text it to someone and then look at it later. So that's how I get some of these ideas. And for example, some of the little orgs that I work with, or the little companies, organizations that I'm trying to build in my own way, sometimes I just get little little creativity from just doing my normal things during the day, or just in my state of rest, just resting. I just think, or I just get that I just get a certain idea or a certain vibe and I put it down. It's either you put the idea down or do it right then and there. So for example, if I get a thought like, oh, you need to text this person about this so that they don't forget, or you need to send this person something. If I know it's something I could do right then, I just do it right then so that I have it crossed off instead of writing it down. If it's more of an idea like long term, like, oh, maybe next week I need to do something, or next month or next year, or this is my goal for what, I always try to write it down. Writing is good, you don't need to physically write, but I mean putting it down, And the Bible also says, I forgot the verse, but maybe I'll attach it below. It's something about write your visions plain on tablets, and they'll be fulfilled, or they'll just come to life better, something like that. So I'll put that below. But things like that. So it's good to put things down and remember to do that. So in general, preserving your creativity, please put down if you have any more tips on how to preserve your creativity, or how you always stay creative, or how you feel like your mind is working, your mind is flourishing. Your mind is not always just thinking on the negative things. Your mind is actually thinking of, okay, wow, let me do this, or let me try this, or positive things. You can put that down to help others as well. And I hope that I've been able to deliver that. So don't always be busy. Do more doing than observing. Be proactive. Do the action. Don't do the action. Don't just try to learn. You can't always be perfect. So some people, I know sometimes people wait till, oh, I need to know everything about it before I move to the next step. You don't always need to know everything about something before you move to the next step. And I'm going to give this example like I do sometimes in our Bible study. It's just like people make the excuse of, oh, I don't know the word, or I don't really know the Bible from A to Z, so how am I supposed to preach it to others? How am I supposed to tell them about it? It doesn't work like that. You're never going to know everything from A to Z. It's from what you know, and by putting it forward and by trying, that you get better. A lot of times it's not by when you're perfect then you try. You have to start whenever you feel like you're ready to start or do something, and it's going to get better. You're not going to be perfect, and you don't know everything from the beginning. Anyway, so I hope I said that well. Also, just creativity just helps you flourish. So don't always bombard yourself with so much work, so much pressure, so much extra things. Just try to keep it, I won't say keep it simple, but don't always be busy. Don't always be busy. Find time to not do anything, and it's kind of like how we, you know, how we dream when we sleep. You can dream when you're asleep, and you're dreaming when you're asleep because you're in a state of rest. So sometimes to get all those inspirations you need, you have to, you know, rest. It's okay, rest, chill, enjoy yourself, watch something, you know, like I said before, you know, however you chill or whatever it is, but make sure that when you're doing all of that, that's kind of how, that's when you can be creative and you can get those ideas. And then after you get those ideas or whatever it is, don't just keep on, you know, extending it. Try to do something about it, because if you never do something about it, you're not going to learn all those things that you see that you're inspired about. So I hope I got that across. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you can also share. You